Celeb Savant is a career retrospective type interview focusing on singers, actors, and industry experts. Join Barrett Edelstein now as he dives into the entertainment world.
British singer-songwriter John Galea joins us on Celeb Savant for the second time. He has been working with the top producers and writers from around the world, including LA-based Beluga Heights and Grammy-nominated production team The Monarch. After supporting McFly on tour, John released his first EP, The Scrapbook, and soon followed that with a promo tour and second EP, Under Attack. John released his third independent EP, Notes from My Piano, in 2013. After a short break on tour and performing at summer festivals with his live band, including the Sundown Festival and London Pride, John released his fourth EP, Missing Pages, and released his top 20 chart-topping track, When You Truly Love Someone, as well as his Christmas single, A Simple Christmas, and EP, Christmas Round the Piano. 2020 saw John work on a host of projects and scoring his first iTunes #1 with his track Hero Within You, recorded with singing sensation Hannah Long. John teamed up with chart-topping rapper Ironic on the single Don't Wanna Die, which was the first single taken from his sixth EP, The Art of Collaboration. In 2026, John released the first track, Songwriter, from his forthcoming debut album. Up next on Celeb Savant, catching up since we last spoke, is John Galea. John, where are you in the world and how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. I'm just in Miami, South Beach.
And you there on holiday at the moment?
Yes, I'm doing a bit sightseeing. I love the place. It's got a great vibe and yeah, great weather.
So it's been a couple of years since we last spoke. So I noticed on your socials that you do a lot of traveling. Tell me how this traveling comes to be.
Well, I do like to travel. I think it's great to see different cultures, and that obviously I integrate that with my music as well. So yeah, it is partly vacation, partly writing camps, meeting up with different producers, work-wise, shooting music videos. So yeah, it's a bit of both, to be fair. Yeah, I think if you can take some culture from where you visit, I think that's a beautiful thing, and if you can incorporate that into your music, why not?
I always think that when a person travels, it pushes them out of their comfort zones, even if they've
Yeah.
planned everything to a T, just by being there. For example, going to a restaurant and not knowing the menu is pushing them outside of their comfort zones, because generally when they're home, they always go to the same restaurant, same menu. Oh, I'll have my usual.
Pushes you out of your comfort zone for sure.
So John, let's dive in. What has been happening over the last couple of years since we last spoke?
Gosh. Wow, it's been a couple of years. How time flies, eh? So I've got an album coming out, my debut album, which has been released later this year, but I just released my first debut single off of it called Songwriter. And it's done really well. People really like it, and I'm really grateful for that, which is great. Yeah, shot a music video in London for it, released that, and had some cool remixes released. So it's been a busy time, but it's all gearing up for the release of the album later this year. So there'll be another new music, another song coming out later in the year, probably before summer. It's that'll be exciting. And then another one, and the album drops.
Why now to release the album, and why have you not done one before?
It's a very good question. I just felt like I never had the right time, the right body of work, really. I want the album to be a comprehensive, like start to finish listen. I feel like the old school albums used to listen to. So I think finally it's there, I think, and it represents who I am as an artist, which is really cool. Yeah, so the EPs were little snippets, little souvenirs of me as an artist. It gives you a little taster. So this is the main event, I guess.
Are any of the songs from the EPs featured on the album, or are they all new tracks?
I think there's only one, and that's because it was taken off Missing Pages EP because there's too many songs on EP to be an EP. I think it was like 7 instead of 6. So I was like, this is a really special song. So I think White Dove is going to be on the album. But that's the only one. The rest of them are completely new, apart from obviously Songwriter, which people have heard already.
You mentioned earlier that there have been a couple of remixes of the new song, Songwriter. So from your perspective and experience, how do you choose which songs get remixed? Do you have a say in it? And of who gets the song to remix, as in which artist remixed the song? And do you also get a say of how many remixes are in the package of that song?
Yeah, totally, very much. It's nice. I get a big say on that, to be fair. And usually it's a single that gets remixed. I mean, I've worked with some amazing remixes in the past. I mean, on this release, Matt Pop, he did the Do It My Way 10th anniversary remix. So I was like, the song's quite a slow song, but I really wanted an upbeat pop song and a pop remix for it. And then I thought Matt would be perfect for it. So I approached Matt and he's like, yeah, I'd love to. So then that's how that came about. But also I made remixes with the producer Oscar Labruto, OLB remix for Songwriter, which is a completely kind of different song in a way. It's got different backing vocals, it's got a different vibe completely. So on that, I did my own remix for the first time, which is kind of cool. But it depends. It differs on the song and where you want to go with the remixes. But yeah, be very lucky to work some amazing remixes for sure.
Tell us about this new album. What inspired it? What inspired the songs? And why did you choose Songwriter as the first single release?
Well, album's about me. It's got to say who I am as an artist, and I think Songwriter is the perfect song to kick it off with, really, because at the end of the day, if you strip it all back, it's just me and a piano and songwriting doing what I love. So it was like a perfect fit in that sense to release that as the first single. But the album's it's similar to Songwriter. Has some upbeat moments too, which is kind of cool. There's a song called Great Yarmouth on it, which is where I'm from in the UK. And so it's a very personal body of work. And I just hope everyone likes it when it's released.
What's the album going to be called?
Ooh, I just
Oh, you can't say that
yet.
yet. Okay, okay. No, that's fine.
It might change. No,
no, that's fine.
Let's just say Songwriter is a big clue in it. So
okay,
that's the theme of it.
We'll have to wait and see. That's perfect. You mentioned that you love writing music and creating songs. What about it do you love?
I think it's like a form of therapy in a way. It's like you sit down at a piano and all your feelings and thoughts and things you fear come flying out, I think. Yeah, it's like a form of therapy between me and the music, for sure.
When you create, do you generally write by yourself or do you collaborate with others?
It's a mix. So I've worked with other people before, also amazing songwriters. I think a lot of this album is just me because it is such a personal album. But yeah, in the past, I love collaborating with people, producers, songwriters. It just gives a different flavor of things, which is great. It's a mix. Although I do struggle sometimes when there's 1, 3, or 4 or 5 people in a room, I'm like, I tend to get a bit lost a little bit in the collab there. I've had some amazing songwriting sessions with some amazing artists and writers, which I'm very fortunate for.
You mentioned earlier that when you're writing a song, it's like therapy and all the fear, whatever stuff comes out. So when you're collaborating with others, does it take a moment for you to get used to their energy and their space in order for that fear and vulnerability to come out, or do you just dive straight in?
No, you're right. Yes, I do. And sometimes it doesn't work. I've been in sessions where it's been a complete mess. I won't name them, but there's some very successful songwriters out there who've had amazing success where it just didn't gel. It just didn't work. Either I couldn't open up or they just didn't feel my vibe. I didn't feel their vibe. And you come away with something, but it's not particularly awe-inspiring or meaningful. So, yeah, there's been those times. That's why sometimes I find it easier to write by yourself because there's more of a structure to it. You know where you're going with it, I think.
Confirm with me, you are an indie artist, eh?
Yeah, totally. I've never been signed or independent. Of course, that's downsides and upsides nowadays. Back in the day, it was quite a lot of downsides. You'd have to be signed to a major and to push, but nowadays, not so much. In fact, it's a plus in some respects that you're not a major.
Okay, so tell us some of the downsides that you experience in a daily and how you have overcome those challenges.
Well, budget is a huge thing. So with majors, you get a lot bigger budgets to market and to record. Not just that, it's certain like playlists and on certain platforms you're just never going to get as an indie artist. Radio play is another huge problem. As an independent artist, trying to break through radio is a bit of a nightmare, to be fair. But then upsides, you get creative control of what you want to do. You get to release when you want to. You, in theory, get more money. So there are upsides, and you keep your publishing, but like everything, there's ups and downs. But it is getting better. A lot of the majors are working with independent artists and different weird deals, so it's ever changing.
So for an independent artist who's just starting out, what advice would you give them?
Consistency. Just keep pushing through. Just keep releasing music. Keep do something authentically yourself. Don't try to chase and follow the crowd, I think, and don't be afraid to be yourself, because at the end of the day, that's what people want and people love, to see yourself flourish as yourself as an artist. And as work with as many people as you possibly can. Work hard. It's not an easy business by any stretch of the imagination. You have to really love it and have a bit of a calling for it, I guess. But do your homework.
Do your homework in what respect of all those aspects you just mentioned?
And just musically,
Okay.
do your homework, in the sense of, you don't have to be a producer or play a piano, but at least any musicality kind of helps when it comes to writing. Look at other amazing artists, singers, pianists, how they write music. Hone your craft as much as you can.
I think that's where a lot of artists struggle, because these days you'll have this person who explodes on TikTok or explodes on YouTube for like 2 seconds, and all of a sudden they get signed to a label, and then nothing happens because they expect everything to be as fast as quick, and they don't realize, okay, well, there is work that needs to be done to get to those next levels.
Absolutely. It's, those hours of playing, if you play the piano, the scales, and learning the classical bits of the music, or even a little bit, or on the guitar, and doing those rubbish gigs where 3 people turn up. That's soul destroying. All those kind of things go into the melting pot of you as an artist, and makes you up and appreciates any success you do have as an artist, for sure.
And I'd like your observation of how you've dealt with this in the past. Obviously, you put a song out, you release it, and you never know. You always hope that there'll be love and all those type of things. But how have you in the past dealt with the situation of a song blowing up, doing well in whatever form, and then now going to write new music, and then thinking, oh, I need to now recreate that because that was successful?
Well, I've fallen down that rabbit hole, I won't lie, before. And you might hear that on some of my music as well. I'll be like, oh, I need another trendsetter. I need another, whatever track it is. But then you realize, especially songwriting, that songs come in different forms all the time. So you might try to chase the same song, but it's never quite the same. So there's no point chasing it. It's better to create something new and sit down and start from a fresh platform. So yeah, I have done that in the past. I try not to do it so much, if possible. It's more about where the song leads me, and you might take influence, but try not to copy past successes if you can. Also make something new and fresh for your fans to listen to as well. So there's something new going on. It develops you as an artist.
So, a reminder, I love me a CD. I still budget for my CDs every month. For me, it's an energy exchange to say thank you to you guys, all the hard work that you do. I love the journey of the choice, the booklet, the unpacking, listening to song from 1 to whatever number. Now, some updated stats for you since we last spoke. So I read this about 3-4 weeks ago, that last year in the USA, $1.04 billion spent on vinyls, the biggest since 1983. Last year, also in the UK, there's a basket of products that they gauge exchanges on. There needs to be a high number of exchanges daily for a product to be in the basket. And because of the upsurge of CDs again, CDs are now back in the basket. The research of all of this is that it's showing it's teenagers diving into this world, the younger kids. Then we have, as you slightly referenced earlier, about the digital, the streaming, the royalties, and so forth. What are your observations of the landscape at the moment?
Yeah, it's ever changing, and vinyl is obviously making a huge comeback. There's a song on the album called Vintage Vinyl, so I'm gonna have to do a vinyl for the album for sure. Which is great, because then it's part of the album, and again, kids pick up the album, they look at the inlay card or whatever it is, and the vinyl and the artwork of it, and it's a whole experience, and you lose that on streaming and downloads. And also you make a bit more money on vinyl, as if if you're doing independent it's more expensive to produce. It is what it is. It's interesting the CDs are coming back. I've got so many CDs in the garage, it's ridiculous. A huge CD collector. So that's nice. But all formats, it's ever changing. It's always going to keep changing. Things fads go in and out. But if you put yourself as on most platforms you can, I think that's the best thing, really. Yes, definitely the album will be on a vinyl.
Do you think the listening audience needs to have more of an understanding of what's going on? I'll give you an example. So
What-
I teach spinning classes, and I decided just for fun to do focus groups before my spinning classes. So it was a group of 10 people, 8 people, 3 people, cross age, cross diverse, cross culture. They mainly listen to music on Spotify or streaming. I said to all the groups of people, if an artist has had 100 million streams on a song, how much money do they think the artist got in their back pocket? Now, I know you're going to laugh. The first group of people said $50 million. The second group of people said $1 million. The third group of people said 300,000 to 2 million. And I actually said, no, it's more like a couple of thousand. They were all very shocked. Now, I do know Ray, Snoop Dogg, Kate Nash, a bunch of different artists have been speaking out about this. I have spoken to a lot of artists who've said they use Spotify or streaming as more of a business card. They can see they're blowing up in Portugal, Spain, and Canada. So they know, okay, I can go tour there. What are your thoughts around this whole concept?
Yeah, in theory, that's a great idea to go touring. But then again, you have to think of touring costs. I think someone like Kate Nash talked about that as well. That's not as cheap as you think either, because you have to obviously hire the venue, do all the bits. As they're nice, it's not that easy. But you're correct. Streaming and downloads is more of a promo tool for you as an artist. Unfortunately, you have to be on it. I'm not a lover of the royalty rates. I think it's a bit ridiculous. And like you say, when you tell people how much you actually make off they're like, "What? Is that it?" And you're like, "Yep." It's not as much as you imagine. That's why if you can get certain sync deals, buyout deals, you have to be a little bit more savvy and business wise. And I've been very lucky in the past with some of my songs Trendsetter. I synced and got quite a substantial amount of money for that, which was great. And then didn't reinvest that in music. I reinvested in something else. Sad as that is. But you're right. In theory, you should go on tour and do all that. It's not as easy as you think. That's why up and coming artists struggle, because it's tough. The change, you look at AI that's taking over stuff. Taking over an artistry as a singer-songwriter won't be so easy for AI. Although to be fair, you're doing that too when you look into the charts. Yeah, it's scary. And I think it's something that needs to change. We talk about it. Huge artists are talking about it. Still nothing has changed, which is quite sad. I guess we just have to keep telling people and make people aware, For example, if you go into a shop and you buy a pint of milk, you don't expect to just go in and take it for free. I mean, who's producing that pint of milk? The packaging, the labeling. So you really have to love what you do if you're a musician, for sure.
Do you have a date for the album when it's coming out, or are you still deciding?
No, still decided now. It will be later this year for sure, though. So it'll be later towards maybe late November, December time.
Anything else that you're focusing on, or things coming out that you can tell us, or the main focus for this year is the album?
Yeah, that's the main focus. I hope you do some dates and tours as well in the diary. The second music video has almost been shot, which is kind of cool. We shot a lot of it in Miami. So yeah, that's exciting. Finishing that off, and then I have to get some dates in the diary and before the album release. It's just so nice and fresh to have some new music out there, and it's been a long time coming.
How come it's taken you so long to put new music out there? It's just life?
Life, money as well. It's not cheap
that's
to release.
Yeah.
To release, especially an album. It's you have 4 promo singles as well as everything else, radio plug-in, you name the rest of it. The reality of releasing music in 2026 is not easy. Also, I just think now's the time. The body of work has come together. All the songs that I want to put out is ready to go, I think. And mentally, I'm ready to get out there and see what people think. And I've been very lucky, I've got my first official chart position with Songwriter, and I think someone told me it was on Amazon #1 as well, which was better than ever, I guess. I'm very lucky to have people's support still.
So I love the charts. I remember I've been following the charts since before the internet. I'd listen to the radio every day, every week, the American top 40, the South African top 40, the British charts. I still follow the charts now. You mentioned having a top 40 chart number, which is amazing. Congratulations. Do you think that the impact of the music charts, American, UK, are still as strong and relevant now as they were like 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago?
No, of course not. It's a very different thing altogether. I think there's people still tune in to find out what's popular, what's going down. But the old days of, there was a thing on Top of the Pops, watching that. It's a different world, and you have to embrace that. But yeah, there's still a space for charts. I think you shouldn't go chasing chart positions. It's amazing to have them, but you shouldn't. That's not the reason why you should be releasing music.
The race to the Christmas number one, specifically in the UK, is still as strong as it was like 10, 15 years ago. I mean, I know every year that Wham is Wham may be number one.
Or Mariah, it's getting a bit predictable, that, in the sense. And there was one time there was the same group having the same number one year after year after year, and then the reality TV shows always used to have the number one.
Yes.
So yeah, that got a bit bland and boring. Yeah, I suppose there is something still special about the Christmas. I don't think I've got a Christmas single again coming out. I think I already did Christmas with a Simple Christmas. So there's no Christmas stuff coming out, I don't think.
I was excited last year when Kylie got to number one. They were saying it's going to be Wham, Wham, and Kylie's new song. So that's fantastic. So speaking of
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
That was good.
I'm like, yes. I asked you this question last time. I'm asking it again. I know it'll be different this time. I'm not saying favorite. I'm saying top of mind. If once you finish this conversation, you're heading out to breakfast, you're going for a nice walk in Miami, you want to listen to 5 other artists, who would those 5 artists be?
At the moment, probably the Bee Gees, Earth, Wind and Fire. I'm listening to a bit of that. I'm listening to a bit of country as well. Country is always a fan favorite of mine for a writing point of view. So a bit of Tim McGraw, Rascal Flatts. I don't know how many artists I'm getting through right now. I have such a diverse collection of music. It's insane. And I guess because I'm in Miami, a bit of Gloria Estefan and
Miami Sound Machine
as well. Yeah, why not?
So, John, as always, the podcast is listened to throughout the world. As a final message to the audience, what would you like to say?
Thank you so much for all your support. It's the start of a very exciting time, and I hope you enjoy the album as much as I enjoyed making it. And thank you so much. I really appreciate all your support.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Celeb Savant. Please follow Barrett on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Celeb Savant. That's CelebSavant.